Once upon a time, far beyond the noise of cities and the rush of modern life, lay a quiet little village cradled between towering mountains. A place where the wind hummed soft songs, where trees whispered old stories, and where the world moved slowly enough for a person to hear their own thoughts. But inside that peaceful village lived a young man whose inner world was anything but calm. His name was Marco. He was 24 years old, and by all appearances, his life should have been simple and beautiful. People in the village woke with the sunrise, worked during the day, and slept peacefully at night. Life was uncomplicated, but Marco could not enjoy this peacefulness, because Marco was at war, not with the world, not with people, but with his own mind. Marco's thoughts never rested. From the moment he opened his eyes in the morning, thoughts flooded in like a storm. Mistakes he made years ago, regrets that burned in his memory, conversations he replayed hundreds of times, worries about the future he couldn't control. He constantly felt two pains at once: sadness for yesterday, fear of tomorrow. He couldn't escape them. His brain ran all day and all night, chasing anxieties he couldn't silence. While other villagers laughed in the evening, Marco sat alone, staring into space while thought after thought ran through his head like restless horses racing across an open field. Food didn't taste good anymore. Sleep refused to come easily. And the worst part? He couldn't remember the last time he smiled, truly smiled. People around him didn't understand. They saw Marco working hard, walking through the streets with determination, and assumed everything was fine. But inside was chaos. Some nights he lay awake until dawn, staring at the ceiling, trapped in cycles of, why did that happen? Why did I say that? What if everything goes wrong in the future? The mind that should have been his tool had become his prison. One evening, after another sleepless night, Marco realized, if I don't find a way to quiet my thoughts, I will lose myself. And that single realization planted the first tiny seed of change. One day, Marco overheard something that caught his attention. Villagers were talking about a distant hillside village, high in the mountains. They said a wise old man lived there, a man who had once been a famous psychologist in the city. He had helped countless people find peace and clarity. But one day, after years of guiding others, the old man left the city life behind. He moved deep into the mountains, into nature, to spend the last chapter of his life in silence and simplicity. He rarely met visitors, but every once in a while, if he felt someone was truly searching, he would help. Marco's heart jumped with hope. Maybe this wise man can give me the one thing I have never found: peace. Marco packed a small bag, said nothing to anyone, and quietly left his village before sunrise. The journey was long and exhausting. He walked across rocky paths, forests thick with trees, and prolonged steep roads that made his legs burn with fatigue. For days he traveled, driven not by strength, but by desperation. Every step whispered the same question in his mind: will I finally learn how to stop thinking? And that question kept him going. Finally, after days of climbing, sweating, and pushing through exhaustion, Marco reached the mountain village people spoke about. It was small, silent, and surrounded by a blanket of green. There, at the edge of the village, stood a simple house half covered with vines and flowering plants. And on the porch sat the old man, eyes closed, back straight, breathing slow. He looked as peaceful as the mountains themselves. Marco walked slowly to him, hesitant, afraid, unsure of what to say. He finally spoke in a trembling voice. "Grandfather, my mind is restless. I cannot stop thinking. I am tired of the noise in my own head. I want peace. Please? Can you help me?" The old man did not answer immediately. He slowly opened his eyes and smiled, the kind of smile given by someone who already understands, even before hearing the full story. He replied softly, "So, you are looking for peace?" Then he stood up and said, "Come, I will give you a task, a very small one, but do it seriously." Marco nodded. He would do anything at this point. The old man led him to the small yard behind his house, where sunlight touched the ground gently. He picked up a simple drinking glass and filled it completely with water, so full that even the tiniest shake would make the water spill. Then he handed it to Marco. The old man said, "Walk from here to the edge of the village and return, but spill not even a single drop." Marco stared at the glass in surprise. He expected deep wisdom, meditation techniques, or long philosophical speeches, but instead he got a glass of water. Still, he accepted the challenge. He had not come this far to refuse. He held the glass carefully and began walking. The path was narrow and lively. Villagers passed him. Dogs barked. Shopkeepers shouted to customers. Children laughed and played in the streets. But Marco didn't look at any of them. His entire attention stayed glued to the water. Step after step, breath after breath, focus, focus, focus. He walked slowly, carefully, fully present. And for the first time in his life, his mind was silent. There was no past, no future, no regrets, no fears, only the water in the glass. By the time he returned, his breath was heavy and his hands tired, but the water was still perfectly full. He looked at the old man and said proudly, "Grandfather, I did it. I did not spill a single drop." The old man smiled gently, and then he asked the most important question of Marco's life. The old man looked him in the eyes and said, "Good, but tell me, did you see the children playing on the road? Did you notice the dogs barking? Did you hear the shopkeepers shouting?" Marco blinked in surprise. "No, I saw nothing. I heard nothing. I focused only on the glass." The old man's smile widened. "That is the secret, Marco," he continued. "When the mind stays on the present moment, there is no room left for fear, no room for regret, no space for the thoughts that haunt you." Marco felt something shift inside. A realization landed softly but deeply. He had never been taught to live in the present. His mind had always lived everywhere except now, and in that single task, he had experienced peace without even realizing it.